Hello everyone, I am Dr. August de Oliveira with the Mod Institute, and as you know, the Mod Institute is big on two things, 3D printing and using ExoCAD. And so if you've seen any of my stuff, you know that implants are kind of my jam. And so one thing we've shown, and Wally has shown a lot of, is how to do a screw-retained 3D printed implant temporary on a tie base. So one thing that I've found is that in the maxillary anterior, sometimes you can do a screw retained crown with the hole coming out the lingual. Sometimes you can't. And so one thing that's really cool about some tie bases is it allows you to do an angled screw channel temporary crown. So I'm going to show you how to design a 3D printed angled screw channel temporary crown on a tie base. And if you are a CEREC user and you've played with ExoCAD, you may see that there is something kind of different in ExoCAD. It's called the crown bottom step. We don't have that in CEREC. I'm going to show you how to do this without the crown bottoms. We're just going to skip over that whole step and basically design a CEREC-ish screw retain crown. So I'll go ahead and start a new case. We'll call it screwed. And I'll click on one of the teeth. We're going to call it an anatomic crown. We're going to 3D print it, and we want this to be screw retained. The gap width of cement and minimal thickness don't really matter that much. The actual spacer around the tie base is determined by the manufacturer. I will say that if you design a 3D printed temporary crown within ExoCAD and 3D printed as is, it will not fit on the tie base. So I'm going to show you something in ArrayWare where you can alter it to make the crown fit a little looser. So let's get going. So we'll hit OK. I'm going to control click number 10 and hit save, and we'll go right into the design. So the first thing ExoCAD really actually wants is a scan without the tie base. So that would be a gingival scan, basically. One thing about this case is these are immediate implants, so the gingiva is pretty kind of not where it should be. So we're also going to basically skip over the step that determines your emergence profile. So hit desktop. I'll go ahead and find this case. By the way, if you want to learn ExoCAD, we're doing a course this weekend and we have some openings, and we'll be doing this case in class. So I'm going to click on upper, click on scan body, and click on lower. So I position my scans basically how Dental DB is set up. So if I pull up Dental DB, you know, it kind of gives you that typodont sort of symbol, and so I have this set up that way. So we're going to go ahead and pick a tie base that allows us to do an angled screw channel. So one thing that's cool about Implant Direct Smartbases is they have compatible implants to anything Nobel and anything Zimmer. So if you're using a compatible implant, you can use them. But what I like about their tie bases is they give you the option of a gingival collar, basically a gingival height that's concave and not convex. So I'm going to go ahead and start on 7. We're going to be using an Implant Direct Smartbase engaging, so we don't want it to spin around. And this is a legacy implant, which is kind of a Zimmer compatible implant. The 3.0 is not compatible to the Zimmer 3.0. So this is a 3.0 with a 2mm collar. And as far as the channel goes, we have a choice between going 0 or going 17 degree. We can further alter that to about 25 degrees if we want to, but I tend to not mess with it. So I'm going to click 17 degree. And so now I'm going to go to my scan body. I'm going to click it, and then I'm going to control click best fit matching. And you can see here that we've got a lot of blue on the top, which means it's well matched. We also get something new. We get this little dial. What is this dial? So I'm going to turn off my scan abutment scan, and you can see here, this is where the angled screw channel goes. And so I'm going to move that to the lingual. And so now if I look at it from the side, I've got that on the lingual. We'll hit next. On tooth number 10, I'm just going to check to see that we've got the same things. So we're going to do a Implant Direct Smartbase engaging 3.0 with a 2mm collar. And click on this. Control click best fit matching. And we've got a lot of blue, so that makes me happy. And so we're going to turn off our scan abutment scan. And I'm going to move that to the lingual. And go to next. So this is the part where we're supposed to define our emergence profile. And you can see here that the tissue is really collapsed down around the tie base. So I'm not going to mess with this. So I'm going to go ahead and skip it. And the same thing on 10. So now we get to play with our model tooth. I'm not going to bore you with my design. So I'm going to go ahead and basically pause the video, design it, and magically come back with good looking teeth. Okay, I'm back. And so we have our initial tooth placement. We're going to go ahead and hit next. All right, so now we can kind of take a look. We've got our 17-degree angled screw channels, and we're at the abutment bottom step. I'm going to turn off my jaw scan, and I'm going to turn on my abutments. And we got the tie bases and all that jazz. We're going to make our tie bases really big. And I can go ahead and turn off this minimal thickness. It's kind of getting in the way. And so if we look at these tie bases, you can see here we've got a concave gingival profile. And what I ideally want to do is make the crown end on this profile. You may notice I don't have a bunch of these little gizmos. That's because we didn't define the emergence profile. And I'm going to further get rid of this by going into advanced profile borders and take the hideaway. So now we basically have no abutment bottoms, and we're going to rely on the tie base as our abutment bottoms. And so I'll go ahead and turn my jaw scans back on and hit next. And so now I can go ahead and go back to True Smile because it looks pretty, and turn on my adjacents. And we can kind of play around with this a little bit. I can go ahead and move this contact over a little bit. Move that contact over a little bit. Move this contact over a little bit. And this one here. Go ahead and decrease the opacity of our jaw scans. You can see here that we are pretty heavy on the contacts still on either side. Now, one mistake people do is they get all into smoothing out all this area, and then they come around here to adapt and hit a proximal. What that's going to do is really gouge out these areas because ExoCAD doesn't know what teeth are and tissue are. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it, and oh man, it really kind of messed it up, right? This is actually a pretty quick job. So we're going to go to smooth, flatten, and I'm going to make the strength really big. And I'm just going to go around here and smooth that down and smooth this down. Smooth this as well. And it looks like I got some work to do in the contact areas. Go ahead and turn my jaw scan back on. And pretty those up. Okay, so now we've got our screw retain. Even though this patient has an open bite, ExoCAD is going to bother me to check the occlusion, and so we're just going to go ahead and do it. Go ahead and hit next. This is our actual screw channel dimensions. I'm not going to mess with these dimensions. If you have sort of a bigger screwdriver or hex tool, if you want to be technical, you can mess with that, but I'm not going to mess with that. So I'll hit next, and it's now merged our restorations. And so if I go ahead now and go into my merged parts and I make them transparent, we can see that we have, I'll turn off these colors here for a sec. We have an opening for our tie base and we have our screw channel. And so I've already saved these two teeth out. So I want to go ahead and show you in Sprintray Cloud how we're going to print these. So I'm going to print this as an implant crown. I'm going to be doing this on the Pro 55S with Sprintray ceramic crown. And you may notice down here we have fit offset. So when you click on implant crown, it automatically backs it out about 50 microns. And so now we don't have to mess with that. So I'm going to go ahead and upload. I'll just go ahead and upload one of my crowns. And it's going to think. Oh, I can see where I messed up here. This is printing on the Pro 55 build plate. We'll go ahead and switch that. It's still thinking. Let's go ahead and call that crown kit and hit save. So we can see our restoration. The supposedly AI is not the smartest AI out there. So we're going to go ahead and alter our supports. I like to give 3 on the incisal edge and 1 on the cingulum, if it lets me. It's not too thrilled with me. And confirm my changes. All right, and so now we can print it. So thanks for listening. If you want to learn more about ExoCAD and all things 3D printing, check out themodinstitute.com. Again, we've got some openings this weekend if you want to learn ExoCAD. Thank you.